And I see a lot of minority aesthetic professionals want results instantly, but not willing to risk, not willing to be patient, not willing to go all in, not coachable.
I've been an introvert for a majority of my life. And so with my business, it's really taught me that I have a story to tell.
There's a lot of aesthetic professionals that willing to save the money and make the mistake. Hey, how you guys doing? I want to welcome you to the Content Aesthetic Show, where we take different aesthetic professionals, different med spa owners, and allow them to share their stories so they can keep inspiring you to keep impacting and serving. And today's episode, we have Tiffany Reynolds. Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Hi, Donzel. I'm doing great.
I love it. So I want to know, what is it that you do to impact the world?
Well, I give my service. I give my time. I give my dedication of all the years I've had in medical field and graduating from 5 different, I have my degree. I have 5 different degrees.
What are those?
I have my associate in healthcare administration. I have my associate in nursing. I have my bachelor's in nursing, and I have my master's in nursing. And I'm going back for my doctor's.
That is a lot of education.
Yes.
Why? Why so much education?
Well, I feel like I'm a lifelong student, and I feel like you can never stop learning. Learning is something that is just continuous, even in the medical field, aesthetics world. You can never stop learning. Once you stop learning, you stop progressing.
Wow. So were you always in the medical field, or where were you at before?
Yes, I've always been in the medical field,
What?
even just from childhood.
Yeah.
I grew up in the medical field. My dad was in the medical field, so it kind of just carried on from then.
Oh, so you generational medical.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's in my blood.
Okay, so what was your dad? What did he do?
He was in the Army, so he served as a combat medic in the Army, 22 years in the Army, serving soldiers, helping them with different wound injuries, etc.
So you heard a lot of stories.
Yes, a lot of stories, some really gruesome stories, and just a lot of stories that showed his chivalry and his bravery, like
Yes.
just to give himself in service.
I love that. So when you first started, what was that like for you? Like, were you just like at a hospital? Were you like, what was that? Paint that picture for me.
Yes, I started in the hospital as a baby nurse, just newly graduated and just wanting to impact women. So I started in labor and delivery, helping women bring life into the world, helping delivering their babies. And so I knew I could do more and give more. And so that's what really encouraged me to go back to school and become a nurse practitioner.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's big. Because sometimes people get a degree and they like, well, there's too much schooling. But you like, no, I'm committed. I want to keep going so I can get higher and higher levels so I can help more and more.
Exactly. That was definitely my thought, is just how can I make a bigger impact on women? As a provider, I can do more. I can prescribe. I have more autonomy with my care.
I love that. And so what was that transition like to actually go medical, to get in a medical spa, medical world? What was that like?
The transition was easy, actually, because I do provide care for women, and I specialize in women's health. So I already have the women and the client in front of me. So now I'm able to give more and impact her life more and go beyond just health. But now we can go deeper into wellness.
I love that. But what was that mental transition like, where I'm in the hospital every day, but now I want to run a business? Like, what was that like for you?
That was challenging, I would say. Time consuming, just a lot of learning about business, transitioning from medical. I feel like I was really proficient in the medical field, but when it came to the business side, I was a novice. And so lots of learning on that side. So that's definitely where the challenges came from.
What was that first big challenge for you that you felt?
I would say just creating my business entity, and not knowing where to start. It's just that starting point. But once you get started, it's just that domino effect. You can go to the next step and the next step.
So what was that next step for you after you built the entity?
The next step was just mentorship.
Okay.
Finding someone who's doing what I want to do and who's successful, not just doing it, but who's successful at it. So finding a good mentor and then having that mentorship guide me to success.
And the reason why I asked you that is because it's a lot of people that like, oh, see a mentor, but be so scared to invest and believe in themselves. Like, where did that courage come for you? Like, okay, I'm about to start my practice, but I'm also going to go out and pay somebody to help me. Like, where did that courage come from?
The courage came from just recognizing that I know that I'm proficient in this, but I'm struggling in this area. So just recognizing that there's going to be challenges ahead. And instead of making these mistakes, learn from someone else's mistakes and try to prevent those mistakes along the road.
I love that because there's a lot of aesthetic professionals that willing to save the money and make the mistake.
Yes.
But don't realize that they losing way more money.
Mm-hmm. And that money that you're losing, you really could put in a mentorship to help save you the loss that's coming.
I love that. And what was the next thing you did after mentorship?
After mentorship, that's when I really took it upon myself to be confident and open the business, start my services, and be confident in what I'm doing.
I love it. So how hard was it for you to actually go find a location?
Wow, location is everything. It was definitely hard. Market research, so many different things go into location. Learning who's your target clientele, where are they at, where do they shop? I mean, it's so much that goes into finding that right location. So it took me a couple months to get to where I wanted to be as far as location and finding the best location I needed to be at.
Did you go suite or did you go full build out? Like, what did you do?
I did. I started small, just like majority of spa professionals is, I started in a suite, just a one room, just subleasing, just trying to, start building that clientele. That's major. And then eventually just branching out to about 3 to 4 exam rooms in my own medical office suite.
That's big, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to when you was in that small suite. It might be a aesthetic professional right now in that small suite, but getting discouraged because she's looking at other people in their 3, 4 examining rooms. And so what would you say to her?
I would say keep going, because there's going to be tough times. There's going to be slow times. There's going to be challenging moments that's going to really test your patience and test your strength as far as as a spa professional, can I do this? You're really digging deep. And that's something that you really have to do is know yourself and really pull out your strengths.
Did you suffer from that looking at other people's spa or anything, or you were just like, nah, I'm good?
No, I would say I saw other people's mistakes, and that's what really pushed me. Learning is like, okay, I know that this route, doing this action is going to create this consequence, whether it's a good or bad. And if I can prevent this mistake or prevent this bad consequence, let me do that.
I think the biggest thing for me as an entrepreneur I had to learn was patience. Like when I first got started 14 years ago, I was in a race. I was like, oh, I got to do this today. Oh, it got to be done right now. Oh, they're big. I got to be big right now. And I realized that in order to succeed for real, I have to have patience. I have to be lenient with myself. I can't be mad when something don't go right. I have to learn from that lesson. And I think now I look back, it's 14 years, full-time entrepreneurship. I left my 9-to-5 in 2010 and was doing content the whole time.
Wow.
So, but I had to learn patience. And I think a lot of new time entrepreneurs, they do not have patience. And social media don't make it no better.
Yes.
And so it's just like, having that patience to see that you got a bigger dream. You're going to have 3 rooms. Then now you're going to have 3 franchises. Then you're going to have 30 franchises. But it's like understanding that it takes patience to get there.
Yeah. And with that being said, with the patience, also giving yourself grace to enjoy the journey from just being in the first, one room suite to growing and just recognizing and embracing where you came from, recognizing that this is a journey that somebody else is going to go to this similar journey. And how can I help them get through and keep pushing having that patience.
What was your mindset like when you had to, because coming from a suite to a build out, right?
Yes.
Took not only courage, but it took money, right?
Yes.
So did you find a pot of gold or somewhere? How did you fund your build out for your location?
Resources, family, friends, just making use of the support system.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with support system for sure. I'm blessed with a major support system with my family, grandma, like my immediate family. So I can definitely say my support system has been there from day one.
That's big. It's a lot of people that might not have a support system, might want to give up. Mindset might not be all the way there. What would you say to them to get them encouraged to keep going?
Make connections. Making connections can really pull somebody out from a dark place where they're really struggling with their business, and making connections where they're networking with someone who's successful, who's been through that before, and that encouraging them, that mentorship helps bring them out of that dark moment.
I love that. Have you ever dealt with like not knowing what to say, maybe an introvert or anything like that? You ever dealt with that?
Yes. Yes, I've been an introvert for a majority of my life. And so with my business, it's really taught me that I have a story to tell. And there's somebody out there that needs, not just wants, but needs to hear my story, just like I needed to hear other people's story, and encouraged me to be here, sitting here with you today.
Yes.
So this has really helped me break out of my comfort zone, increase my confidence, and just share my story.
So what was that first moment where you realized like, oh no, this business is I got to get out here and network and speak. And I know it was uncomfortable, but like, what was that like for you?
That was difficult. But I think what really pushed me to do it was knowing that this is something that has been a vision that God has given to me, and it's not really up to me, and it's not really up to my capability, that God has given me the strength to do this. So I know I can do this, and I just have to get it done. Not try, but just get it done.
I love that. And do you have kids?
I do. I have 2 girls.
Okay. And are you showing them entrepreneurship, or are you going through entrepreneurship?
Yes. And so my daughter has just started she just got a debit card and started managing her money herself. So I'm just teaching her from a young age. I wasn't taught that early on. So just teaching her, giving her what I wasn't able to give, wasn't given to me as a young age, and just teaching her entrepreneurship. What she started making bracelets and selling them at school. So, and just trying to teach them that, you can do things on your own.
I love it. And the big reason why I ask that is because sometimes I talk to aesthetic professionals and they be like, well, but I got kids and I can't invest in my business. My kids need this and that. But it's like you're balancing that. You're balancing business, motherhood, everything else, not making no excuses. Why is it important to you not to make excuses?
Well, when I go home and I see those 2 girls, there's no excuse that I can give them that mommy failed, or I can't. That's what drives me. That's the motivation that keeps me going to get through those difficult times.
I think a lot of times, like even for me, like my mother wasn't an entrepreneur, my daddy wasn't an entrepreneur. I'm first generation. And so I have to make the sacrifices in order for my kids to reap some of the benefits. Like they still got to put in the work. And I think a lot of times we use that as a handicap, but not use it as fuel and motivation to keep growing.
Right. Yeah. Same here. I'm first generational entrepreneur. So really it's just, I have to be that stepping stone for everybody else to see, like, hey, you can be successful. So just encouraging my older brothers to start their furniture business. So this is something that's really generational for us.
What was that big reason for you to be like, let me open up my med spa where you opened it up in your local town? Like, why was that?
Well, picking that specific location was definitely because of the community. I wanted to be in a community that needed the service, not where there's a med spa on every corner, but a community that's really can use the service, and that a community that's underserved, a community that needs a service, but not many entrepreneurs want to go there because it's an underserved community.
Yeah. So like, what was that like for you? Like, because sometimes we be like, but if they can't afford us or this and that, like, what is your motivation? Be like, yo, I want to change my community.
Yes. It's more of making the impact on their health. It's not so much of the money, making the money. It's more of how can I make the impact? How can I make the change? It's only right to make the change in their lives. If I'm going to do them a disservice if nothing's changing.
Mhm. I love that. And I want to know for you, like, how has content helped your business?
Oh, wow. Content is major. It's definitely helped my business with visibility,
Yeah.
credibility, showing patients that just sharing my story, sharing the story of the services, letting them know that they're not alone in the struggles that they have with weight loss or whatever their struggles that they're having with their health care.
Yeah.
So content really gets me out of my comfort zone and gets me from the business out into the media, social media, and just sharing and exploring and letting people know my story.
Mm. Thinking about Bloom,
Mhm.
where do you see Bloom in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, I see Bloom in multiple cities. Definitely like a franchise. I see it impacting communities. I see it giving to nonprofits and impacting neighborhoods and young girls and encouraging them to be the best that they can be and believe in themselves as far as their goals and growing up.
Mm. I love that. And so why did you name it Bloom? What's the reason?
Bloom is called Bloom because I wanted women to feel like they are flourishing. I wanted them to impact their lives and change their lives, not just come to me and put a Band-Aid on their issues, but really make an impact and change and transform. So blooming is starting with that seed that I put into them and just nurturing that seed, allowing patients to grow, allowing patients to flourish, and allowing them to bloom from within, not just on the outside. A lot of patients will, or a lot of businesses will think, let's just help how they look. But I want to help patients how they feel. I want them to feel good and look good.
That was good. That was really good. When you came up with Bloom, was that your initial first pick, or did you have other options?
Well, I wanted something that tailored to growth, and I wanted something that had example of just flourishing, something that's is beautiful. And when I looked at a flower, it's like a rose, any flower, a lily. It's beautiful if you've ever seen a flower and actually sat down and watched the process of it, it's definitely a process. And that's why I want patients to know when they come to me, this is going to be a process. This is going to be a journey. And I'm here with you. I'm here to help guide you through it.
I love that, because that's what we kind of tell our clients. It's like, this don't happen overnight, but impact takes time. And if you are with us along the journey and you let us help you, it's going to happen. But it's like, nothing happens overnight. And I see a lot of minority aesthetic professionals want results instantly, but not willing to risk, not willing to be patient, not willing to go all in, not coachable, and wondering why. When I look at the other ethnicity, their spas do about 1.3 million a year, and Black spas and minority spas do about 150,000 a year. And it's because of the lack of coaching. It's because of the instant gratifications. But when I talked to you, I told Gabby, I was like, oh, Tiffany gonna be big. But it's because you care more about the community. You care more about the people. You understood that it was a process.
Right.
Like, where did that stem from, understanding that it's gonna take time?
Yeah. Well, I knew that this is my assignment. This is my assignment. This is my vision. So I know that I'm going to be successful. So when you know you're going to be successful and you're confident in that, you really don't allow other things to affect you in other ways to affect your confidence where you're not able to succeed. So you know that it's going to take time. You know that it's going to, even when the hard times come, you know the good times are right behind. So you just got to stay with it, stay consistent, and have patience.
What was one of them big storms you had to go through in your business so far?
I would say location. Changing my location was really big for me. I went from the sublease to a bigger location. So that was a challenging moment for me. just because there's kind of hiccups along the way. If you don't know, just try and find a new location. And there's a lot of things that go into it, lots of paperwork. So lots of different things can go wrong during that process. So I would say just getting through that storm and just persevering, just keeping the patience and keeping your dream at the head.
Oh, that's big. So when you did do the transition, how easy was it moving the patients from one location to another location?
That was major as well. That was not as easy as I thought it would be. Luckily, patients are really attached to me and they love the care that I provide, and they are willing to travel as much as if I travel, they're willing to go and make that sacrifice.
Oh, that's big. Because I know it might be some aesthetic professionals right now that can upgrade and move, but they like, no, I'm going to lose my patients because they ain't going to want to travel. They ain't going to want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But no, if you're giving them good customer service, if they know that you care,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to go wherever you go. You don't care if it's across the country.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to figure a way to still get the service.
Right. And also just being stagnant, just being comfortable with being complacent, that can really deter and like really prohibit your business from growing and scaling. Just being comfortable in one spot, just because your patient and your clientele is there. You can think of it as growing your clientele versus limiting your clientele.
Break that down.
Well, just expansion for me. In my instance, it's more of expansion. Now I have a whole new demographic that I can target and now bring the old clientele with me. So now it's impacting more lives. I'm not limited where I once was.
I love that. If you can say something to an aesthetic professional that might be on the verge of giving up, because they might be going through one of them seasons. I call them entrepreneur seasons.
Yes.
If you could say something to them, I want you to look into this camera right there and I want you to say something.
I would say keep going, that you are enough and that you have the support. Connect with other like-minded people, successful people, and trust yourself that you can do this.
Tiffany, if you can think of one superpower that you have, what would it be?
My superpower is caring. Caring, and that stems from just nursing. When I see someone in need, no matter who it is, what the need is, I look into my life, I self-reflect and try to figure out, what can I do? There's something that I can give, there's something I can say to help this person in this time of need. Because I know if it was me, if it was my family member, a close friend, I would want that same thing done to them.
That was good. I just want to commend you for believing in yourself, for being a representation for your daughters, for having the courage to go and serve your community. Because sometimes as servant leaders, they might get called on serving, but they might not show up. It takes a lot of courage to show up, because I sometimes be thinking that it'd be nonprofit first before it be profit when you're serving.
Absolutely.
Right? But it's worth it.
Yeah.
And so I want to commend you for that. And I can see it in your heart. The first moment I talked to you on the call, I was like, oh, she got it. So do not allow that light to dim no matter what. No matter the success that comes your way, no matter the relationships that come your way, no matter the monetary that comes your way, stay serving and stay caring.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for tuning in to the Content Aesthetic Show today. And I just want you to understand, courage and limiting yourself is something you can't do. You cannot get comfortable. You have people counting on you. You got people that need your help. So you got to show up. I don't care if your aesthetic practice isn't booming. That means get out in your community and help your people. That means get louder, get visible so they can feel you and see you, because it's your calling. It's your mission. But if you think about the money first and not think about caring first, you ain't going to make it first. So I want you to use this episode to keep going. And I'm Dontel Antonio, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Content Aesthetic Show.